Have you ever considered that evil doesn't just creep in through actions, but begins in a subtle moment when we stop seeing each other as living souls and start perceiving one another as lifeless objects? A profound insight from C.S. Lewis sheds light not only on how we treat others, but also on what we leave behind in our own lives. Imagine this: every face in your inner circle, every voice that finds its way into your mind leaves an imprint on your life. But is that imprint one of light or shadow? In today's world, the mention of witches might make you laugh, instantly bringing to mind absurdly pointy hats or bubbling cauldrons straight out of fairy tales. But let me wake you from that dream. The real dangers to your soul require no theatrical props. They hide in warm smiles, sweet words, firm handshakes, subtle cunning, and sometimes wrapped in the guise of charm or genuine friendship. I'm not here to weave nightmares or make you suspicious of every glance. No, I'm here to offer you a key, the key of discernment, the very thing that will help you see through the fog and recognize the truth. To those with awakened souls, listen closely. There are unseen forces at work around you even now, forces constantly seeking to manipulate, ensnare, and pull you away from the radiant path that God has laid before you. This battle didn't begin yesterday. It has smoldered since the earliest days in the Garden of Eden, where darkness first dared to challenge the light. So today, join me on a journey of discovery. 5 signs that someone in your life may be carrying dark intentions, a modern-day witch quietly weaving spells over your fate. This is not an accusation or baseless fear-mongering. This is illumination. This is liberation. When you learn to see darkness for what it truly is, you will stand unshaken, like a mountain in the brilliant light of truth. Are you ready? Let's pull back the veil and confront what lies beneath. Sign 1. They relentlessly dig into your secrets like dark treasure hunters. Have you ever felt someone's gaze drilling into your life's surface, silently but relentlessly searching for the smallest scraps of information? This is the first sign, a bright red flag waving in the wind that you cannot afford to ignore. They continuously pry into your personal life as if it were their life's mission. These people aren't just curious, they are ravenous. They crave knowing every hidden corner of your private world. They start with the smallest details, what you ate today, who you met this week, and then gradually dig deeper. How's your relationship with that person going? How much are you making at your new job? What's your next big plan? At first you might smile and think, oh, they just care about me. But pause for a second and feel it, something is off. Over time, you'll see the bigger picture. They're not asking because they want to raise a glass to your success or hold your hand on the journey ahead. No, they're asking because they want to own you, every piece of your life. As if knowing everything would hand them a secret key to control you. Imagine standing before a door, the door to your soul, where your dreams, hopes, and fears reside. These people don't knock politely like guests. No, they pound on the door, pick the lock, and search for any crack they can slip through. They throw out seemingly harmless questions. Don't you tell me about your new project? How's your family doing? What are you planning to do with that money? But when you hesitate, when you choose to keep a part of yourself private, they don't smile and respect your boundary. No, they frown, sigh, and blurt out lines like, well, don't you trust me? Are you hiding something? I thought we were friends. You feel the pressure? That's not concern, it's a thirst for power. They don't want to know so they can celebrate with you. They want to know so they can hold you in their grip. C.S. Lewis once said that hidden things have a way of revealing themselves, even in the most unsuspecting moments. But what he didn't say outright, and what I will tell you today, is this. When you let too many secrets slip from your hands, you may be handing someone else the whip to lash your future. Now let's go even deeper. Why is this so dangerous? Because those with dark intentions, modern-day sorcerers hidden beneath human masks, need information like they need air to breathe. They don't just want to know, they need to know so they can act. To them, every detail you reveal is a precious brick they use to build a plan against you. Maybe they use it to plant seeds of doubt in your mind, making you hesitate at the doorstep of success. Maybe they whisper negativity into the universe, silently obstructing your path. Or worse, they wield your own secrets as weapons, cursing your dreams before they even take shape. Have you ever noticed this? One day you're excitedly sharing your startup idea, maybe a small shop, a passion project, or a major career move. Your heart is beaming with hope. But then, just days after telling that person, everything starts to fall apart. The deal is canceled. The money doesn't come through. Your confidence suddenly shakes, and you wonder, what's happening? That's not coincidence, my friend. It's a sign. The Bible warns us in Proverbs 4:23, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Your heart is a sacred stream. But if you let the wrong hands poison it, the waters will be tainted. Think back to the times you opened up. Those moments when you thought you were sharing joy with a friend, only to walk away feeling unsettled, uncertain, and drained. How many times have you spoken about a big goal, buying a house, starting a new journey, or even just having a good day, only to watch it vanish like a soap bubble? I've been there, trusting the wrong people, watching my dreams shatter like broken glass. And then I realize not everyone is rooting for you. Some people, whether consciously or unconsciously, carry darkness within them. They don't want to see you soar, they want to keep you within their reach. These people have no problem crossing boundaries. They'll wear the mask of friendliness, pretending to care deeply, but their eyes always glimmer with another intent. They dig into your family. How are your parents? What's your sibling up to? They pry into your plans. What's next for you? How much money do you have for that? And once they have the pieces, they don't treasure them, they weaponize them. So what should you do? Learn to move in silence, like a warrior hidden in the shadows, never letting the enemy know where you're going or what you're carrying. You owe no one an explanation for your life. Not your friends, not your co-workers, not anyone except God. Keep your dreams locked in a sacred chamber, where only you and He hold the key, until the time is right to open the door. Pay attention. After every conversation with that person, how do you feel? If they leave you in chaos, if your dreams start shaking, if your joy turns into anxiety, that is your signal to build a wall. I'm not saying that everyone who asks questions is a bad person, but I am telling you this. Listen to your soul, pray for discerning eyes, to see who is truly light and who is darkness in disguise. A great philosopher once reminded us that words hold power, but I will tell you this, silence is even more powerful. When you keep things to yourself, you remain in control. When you choose who gets to step into your world, you choose your destiny. So, my chosen one, rise up and declare, I will not let anyone steal my light. Live wisely, move discreetly, and let God guide you through the labyrinth of hidden motives. Because in this game, information is not just power, it is a double-edged sword, and I want you to hold it firmly, never letting it turn against you. Let's keep going, because the journey to uncovering the truth has only just begun. Sign 2. When people fall into idolatry. One of the clearest, deepest, and sometimes most cleverly disguised signs that someone in your life may be under the influence of dark forces is when they fall into the path of idolatry. Don't be too quick to think that idolatry is merely bowing before cold stone statues or ancient gods from distant mythologies. No, the truth is far more subtle, and it is this very subtlety that makes it more dangerous than ever. Idolatry exists in countless forms in modern life. It requires no ancient rituals or clouds of incense. It seeps into the human soul whenever someone places something, someone, or even themselves on a pedestal higher than God, the one and only Creator truly worthy of absolute reverence. The frightening part is that those who fall into this path often don't even realize they've gone astray. They are swept up in a vortex of delusion, convincing themselves that what they worship is entirely justified, that it is the guiding light of their life, but that light, if it does not come from God, is nothing more than a mirage, a will-o'-the-wisp, leading them further away from the truth. Think about this. Have you ever witnessed someone in your life worshiping a celebrity to the point of blind devotion? Take, for example, the frenzied crowds surrounding a star like Beyoncé. Not to criticize her personally, but to examine the larger phenomenon. There are fans who call her queen, even mother of light, as if she were some untouchable divine entity. They defend her at all costs, attacking anyone who dares to speak a word against her, acting as if she is the embodiment of flawless perfection. Beyoncé, or any celebrity in a similar position, is not always oblivious to this. They are aware of the power that such admiration brings, a power that can make millions of people willingly sacrifice their reason, their time, and even their identity to serve the idol they have created with their own hands. But don't think this is just about glamorous stars on a stage. Idolatry is not limited to entertainment. It can manifest as an obsession with a luxurious lifestyle, a prestigious career, or even one's own inflated ego. When someone places anything above God, whether it be money, fame, a relationship, or control, they open a door to distortion, where their soul is gradually reshaped by what they worship. The great writer C.S. Lewis once penned a haunting truth that forces us to pause and reflect. He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. This warning is not just about external battles, it is about the internal war within each of us when faced with the temptations of idolatry. When someone places their trust and admiration in something other than God, they not only distort the image of what they worship, they allow themselves to be changed in ways they never anticipated. Their character begins to reflect the flaws, the cracks, and the imperfections of their idol, rather than the perfection, love, and holiness of the Creator. A person who worships money will become cold and calculating. A person who worships fame will gradually lose their humility. A person who worships another individual will become dependent, forfeiting the free will that God has given them. Idolatry is not just an action, it is a deep spiritual disfigurement, pulling people away from the light of truth and into the darkness of illusion. But let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Idolatry is not just a personal issue. It is a force that infiltrates every aspect of our lives. Ask yourself, in the relationships around you, is there someone placing something above God? Maybe it's your close friend who speaks of money as if it were the ultimate purpose of life. Maybe it's a family member obsessed with control, craving admiration and validation, as if they were the center of the universe. Maybe it's a colleague who relentlessly chases status, pressuring you to believe that your worth is also tied to these fleeting things. These behaviors are not as harmless as they may seem. They are like invisible chains, wrapping around the soul and pulling people into a dangerous spiral. The Bible warned us thousands of years ago in Exodus 20:3-4. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. This is not a dry command, it is a merciful plea from God, who understands that when we worship the creation instead of the Creator, we set ourselves on a path to destruction. Idolatry has the power to blind people. It clouds their vision, making them forget that everything in this world, money, fame, even the people we love, is temporary, mere gifts from God's hands. When someone worships these things, they not only sever their connection with the Creator, but also open a door for dark forces to exploit them. Manipulation, control, and the obsession with power often walk hand in hand with idolatry. You can see this in people who crave to be idolized. They revel in attention, they soak in admiration, and then they use their influence to mold others to their will. Or maybe it's those trapped in materialism, constantly chasing wealth and status, dragging you into the same distorted mindset. Don't let their delusions infect you. If you notice someone in your life constantly pressuring you to accept their values, to worship what they worship, take a step back and set your boundaries. Idolatry often begins as something small, a fleeting attraction or even a seemingly reasonable excuse to admire someone or something, but if left unchecked, it will lead you to a place of darkness where true peace and freedom no longer exist. So how do you stand firm against this temptation? How do you protect your soul and those you love from the destruction of idolatry? The answer lies in keeping your eyes fixed on God. When you make Him the center of your life, when you worship the Creator rather than chasing after the fleeting things of this world, you will find a peace that nothing else can provide. Remember, everything in this life, whether wealth, fame, or the people we admire, is just a shadow compared to the eternal light of God. Do not let false idols steal the joy and purpose that He has set for you. Stand strong. Place your faith where it truly belongs, and live a life of freedom and fulfillment in His presence. Because when you worship only God, you don't just find peace, you find your true self. Signs 3. They are obsessed with manipulation and control. One of the clearest, deepest, and sometimes most skillfully hidden signs that someone in your life may be under the influence of dark forces is their intense passion for manipulation and control. This is not just a habit or a fleeting preference. It is a slow-burning fire within them, an insatiable thirst to dominate, to bend people and circumstances to their will. Those caught in this vortex don't simply want to influence others, they need it, the way an addict craves their next fix just to feel alive. Control gives them a sense of power, a deceptive yet intoxicating force that makes them willing to cross ethical lines, disregard moral values, and sacrifice human decency to achieve their desires. Pause for a moment and reflect. Have you ever encountered someone with an almost supernatural allure, a mesmerizing presence that makes others willingly submit without them even having to issue a command? These are the puppet masters, the ones who pull the strings from a distance, orchestrating blind loyalty or even igniting fierce conflicts without ever getting their own hands dirty. Think about the world of celebrities, not to single out any individual but to examine a larger phenomenon. Some public figures are idolized to such an extreme that their followers defend them with almost religious fervor, attacking anyone who dares to question their perfection. And yet, the celebrity remains silent, watching from a distance with a knowing smile. This is control at its highest level. Power without words, influence without direct presence, yet capable of commanding thousands of minds. But manipulation isn't limited to the dazzling world of fame. It seeps into the smallest corners of everyday life, disguising itself in the most seemingly normal relationships. There are people who use honeyed words to trap others, who deploy subtle tactics to keep someone bound to them. For example, a woman might resort to mysterious methods, whispers of love spells, or psychological tricks to tie a man to her, even if his heart doesn't truly belong to her. These relationships are not built on genuine love, but on invisible chains, forged from coercion and fear. If you have to use deceit, guilt, or force to make someone love you, stay with you, or obey you, that is not love. It is control masquerading as emotion. The brilliant writer C.S. Lewis once wrote a line that should shake us to our core. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow, what you stop, and what you reinforce. This is a mirror reflecting the truth. Manipulators thrive because we let them. They grow stronger when we hesitate to set boundaries, when we are afraid to say no, or when we let misplaced compassion pave the way for them to step into our lives. They are masters of exploiting human weakness. They wield guilt like an invisible whip, lashing at your conscience until you begin to question yourself. Am I being selfish for refusing them? They plant seeds of fear so you won't dare step outside the invisible circle they've drawn around you. And sometimes they play emotional games, one moment exalting you to the heavens, the next playing the victim, so that you feel indebted to them. But why do they do this? Why would anyone want a relationship built on coercion rather than mutual choice? The answer is simple, yet profoundly tragic. They do not seek true love. They do not crave a genuine, heartfelt connection. What they desire is power, the power to shape the world around them, the power to make you a pawn in their grand scheme. They do not respect your boundaries. To them, boundaries are not sacred lines to be honored, but obstacles to be broken. They will twist your words, turning what you confide in them into weapons against you. They may smile and say, "I only want what's best for you," but behind their eyes lies calculation. They may feign weakness, crying to elicit your sympathy, but their vulnerability is a carefully laid trap. The Bible gives us a crystal-clear warning in Galatians 5:01. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. This is not just a gentle reminder. It is a powerful call to live in the freedom God has given us, unshackled by anyone else's manipulative grasp. But manipulators don't want you to be free. They want you to doubt yourself, to second-guess every decision, until ultimately you depend on them as if they are the only guiding force in your life. The greatest danger? Manipulation doesn't always appear as a snarling demon in plain sight. Sometimes, it wears the face of a caring friend or a loving family member, whispering, "I just want to help you. You'll regret it if you don't listen to me." But does their help leave you feeling empowered or trapped? Does their guidance make you stronger or weaker? If their presence in your life feels like a tightening grip rather than a supportive embrace, that is not love or concern, it is control, carefully disguised. They want you to feel small, weak, dependent, so that you believe you need them to stand tall. Manipulation can be as subtle as a whisper or as direct as a command, but its goal is always the same: to keep you within their grasp, to prevent you from stepping into the freedom God intended for you. So what do you do when faced with people like this? How do you protect your soul from the chains they try to wrap around you? The answer lies in strength and faith. Set boundaries, not with anger or hatred, but with firmness and self-respect, knowing that God loves you as you are. Pray for discernment, for eyes that see through deception and recognize what is truly light versus what is simply darkness wearing a mask. When someone's influence in your life begins to feel suffocating, when their words feel like a leash tightening around your spirit, pause. Ask yourself, are they truly walking with me toward God, or are they leading me away? God has called us to freedom, to a life empowered by His Spirit, not a life imprisoned by human hands. Stand firm in His truth, because no one, not a friend, not a family member, not anyone, has the right to control your life except the Creator Himself. When you walk in His light, no chain of manipulation can hold you. So be strong, be free, and live the life God has destined for you, a life unchained, filled with hope, and rooted in true love. Sign 4. They immerse themselves in or pull you into occult practices. One of the clearest, deepest, and sometimes most seductively disguised signs that someone in your life may be under the influence of dark forces is when they passionately engage in or encourage you to participate in occult practices. This is not harmless fun or adventurous storytelling. It is a dangerous gateway leading directly to realms that humans were never meant to enter. These activities take many forms, from chanting mysterious spells under the moonlight and using charms to manipulate fate, to tarot card readings, palmistry, and even attempting to communicate with spirits they believe to be deceased loved ones. All of these paths stray from the light of God, not only damaging the soul but also throwing open the gates to forces beyond our understanding and control. The writer C.S. Lewis once said something haunting. Shallow men believe in luck or circumstance. Strong men believe in cause and effect. This serves as a wake-up call. Those who dive into the occult are often not willing to surrender to God's guidance. They crave shortcuts, quick routes to power, instant answers, or ways to control life in ways the Creator never intended. But what they fail to see or willfully ignore is that in the spiritual realm, nothing comes without a price. Every action carries a cost, and that cost is often bondage to forces they will never be able to master. Imagine a moment in your life. A close friend, a coworker, or even an acquaintance approaches you with eyes gleaming with mystery. They hand you a sparkling crystal, saying it will bring positive energy to drive away bad days. Or they place a scented candle in your hand, telling you that if you light it and whisper a wish at exactly midnight, your dreams will come true. They smile, their voice gentle as the wind. It's nothing serious, just a little fun. But don't let their softness fool you. This is how darkness creeps in, not with a terrifying roar, but with sweet invitations. With promises that seem harmless, even good. They may tell you that this is white magic, that it is different from evil forces, that it is simply a way to connect with the universe or unlock your inner potential. But the truth is, there is no such thing as good magic when it pulls you away from God's protection. These invitations are not outstretched hands lifting you up. They are invisible chains wrapping around your soul, pulling you step by step into a dark maze from which you cannot escape alone. The Bible made this clear thousands of years ago in Deuteronomy 18:10-12, where God explicitly called occult practices detestable. Think about it. Seeking mediums to talk to the dead, chanting spells to alter fate, or burning incense to plead with unseen forces. All of these are a rejection of the supreme authority of the Creator. This is not harmless curiosity. It is an open invitation to the enemy of your soul, allowing it to step in and sow chaos. Those who immerse themselves in the occult rarely keep it to themselves. They want to pull you in with them, as if your participation validates their belief. They might say things like, stand in front of a mirror at exactly 3 a.m. and repeat this phrase 3 times. Write the name of the person you love on paper, burn it under the full moon, and they will belong to you. At first glance, this might sound like a silly superstition, a childhood game you once laughed about with friends. But behind this innocent facade is a spiritual door creaking open, and when you step through, you don't just invite what you want. You also invite curses, entanglements, and spirits you never want to encounter. Be cautious of how they lure you in. These people often appear with good intentions, as if they are offering you a valuable gift. They may say, I just want to help you find peace. This is how you can take control of your life. But this help always comes with a hidden cost that they never tell you up front. A friend once shared that she was given a lucky necklace by an acquaintance, along with instructions to wear it daily to maintain positive energy. At first, she felt uplifted, even hopeful. But then, strange dreams began to haunt her. visions of lost loved ones whispering words she couldn't understand. She thought it was her grandmother comforting her, but deep inside, an uneasiness gnawed at her. That was not her grandmother, it was something else. Something disguised, something creeping into her life, waiting for her to let her guard down. Those who encourage the occult often see no harm in what they do. They boldly declare, "I'm not doing anything evil, I'm just tapping into the universe's energy." But listen carefully. Anything that pulls you away from God, whether it's an energy crystal or a harmless ritual, is a step into darkness. So what should you do when faced with these people, when they extend their hand and invite you into their world of mystery? How can you keep your soul pure and untainted by these carefully disguised temptations? The answer lies in faith and unwavering conviction. First, fall to your knees and pray, not in fear, but in absolute trust that God is your stronghold and protector. Put on the full armor of God, as Ephesians 6:11 teaches, so you can stand firm against the enemy's schemes. This armor is not something you can touch. It is the invisible strength of truth, love, and the Holy Spirit's guidance. Second, firmly reject anything that even hints at the occult. Whether it's an invitation to a casual tarot reading with friends or a small charm promising good fortune, do not let momentary curiosity cost you eternal peace. God created you to live in His light, not to wander through the shadows of deception. Remember, you are not alone in this battle. God is always beside you, ready to pull you out of any maze the occult world tries to trap you in. When you root yourself in His truth, no spell, no ritual, no whispered invitation can shake you. Those who lure you into the occult may think they are giving you power, but true power does not lie in crystals or moonlight. It lies in your connection with the Creator, the one who has given you a life of freedom and fullness. Walk in that light, hold firm to your faith, and never let anyone pull you away from the path God has set for you. Because when you stand strong in Him, no darkness can touch you, and that is a power greater than any magic in this world. Sign 5. The shadows of negativity always follow their presence. One of the clearest, deepest, and sometimes most deceptively masked signs that someone in your life may be under the influence of dark forces is when negative patterns seem to follow them like an unshakable shadow every time they pass through your life. Imagine this. You've just received amazing news, perhaps a promising business opportunity, the dream home you've been praying for, or a life-changing breakthrough after years of effort. With a heart full of hope, you rush to share this joy with someone you trust, a friend, a family member, or even a colleague who has always seemed supportive. But then, like a chilling wind sweeping through, things start to unravel. The project you poured your heart into suddenly encounters inexplicable roadblocks. The dream home you were about to claim becomes tangled in unforeseen legal troubles. The joy that had just begun to ignite within you is abruptly extinguished by a series of strange, unfortunate events. At first, you dismiss it as coincidence, a bit of bad luck that anyone might experience. But as it happens again and again, like a dark melody repeating itself every time you open your heart to that person, it's time to stop and take a closer look. The great writer C.S. Lewis once said, "People may hear your words, but they feel your attitude." This truth shines a light on the hidden spaces the human eye cannot always see. Some people carry an unspoken energy, a silent but powerful force. Envy, resentment, or deep-seated bitterness they will never admit. They may smile at you, pat you on the back, and say all the right congratulatory words, but deep inside their hearts shrink at the thought of seeing you rise, at the sight of your light shining while they remain in their own shadows. This could be a trusted friend you once confided in, a family member who has been present in all your life's major moments, or a colleague who you believed shared your aspiration. When you tell them about your big plans, they respond with a half-hearted smile, an encouraging word that somehow lacks warmth, or worse, a subtle form of negativity disguised as concern. "Are you sure? That sounds really risky. I just don't want to see you get hurt. What if this doesn't work out?" And then, like a self-fulfilling prophecy, things begin to fall apart. Obstacles emerge from nowhere, doors of opportunity slam shut before you, and you find yourself starting from scratch, over and over again. Why does this happen? Why do negative patterns cling to certain people like an unshakable curse? The answer lies in a harsh truth. Those who are influenced by dark forces carry a spirit of destruction, sometimes intentionally, but often they don't even realize what they are doing. Envy is a slow-burning fire, It doesn't have to erupt in flames to cause harm. It can spread silently through a single glance, a casual remark, or even an unspoken resentment. They don't need to actively sabotage you. They don't need to directly tear your dreams apart. The energy of their negativity alone is enough to sow the seeds of storms in your life. A friend once told me a story. She had just received a long-awaited promotion after years of relentless effort. Overflowing with joy, she shared the news with a cousin she had always considered her greatest supporter. The cousin laughed loudly, clapped her hands in celebration, but that very night my friend received news that a major project of hers had been suddenly cancelled for no apparent reason. She thought it was a fluke, until it happened a second time, then a third time, always after confiding in that cousin. Finally, she realized not all smiles are filled with light, and not all congratulations come from a genuine heart. This is why silence is sometimes golden, not because you should live in fear or paranoia, but because not everyone deserves access to your journey. Pay close attention to how people react when you share your good news. Do they genuinely celebrate, or does their face subtly tighten? Does their mood shift as if your happiness is a burden for them to carry? Do they suddenly start poking holes in your plans, planting doubts in your mind? These signs are often subtle, averted eyes, an offhanded comment, or a forced expression of enthusiasm, but they are clues nonetheless. Envy does not always appear as a roaring beast standing before you. Sometimes it hides beneath a mask of kindness, waiting for the moment you lower your guard to cast its shadow over your life. Some people cannot stand to see you surpass them. Even if they never admit it, even if they don't actively sabotage you, their presence alone feels like a dark cloud, dimming the light you are fighting so hard to reach. But here is the good news. The flame of hope you need to hold on to. You are not powerless in this battle. The Bible affirms in Isaiah 54:17, "No weapon forged against you will prevail." These words are not just a promise. They are a declaration of power, that no force, no energy, no negativity can dictate your destiny when your faith is in God. If you notice negative patterns surfacing after sharing your joy with certain people, do not let fear or frustration imprison you. Drop to your knees, lift your head high, pray, not with despair, but with unshakable faith that God will give you wisdom to see through every false mask. Ask Him to shield you from the invisible arrows of envy, and trust that He has the power to shatter every spiritual attack aimed at your life. You do not have to live in suspicion. You do not have to shrink back in fear. Instead, learn to guard your dreams. Choose wisely who you confide in, and walk boldly in the confidence that no darkness can extinguish the light God has placed within you. Your life is a sacred journey, guided by the hand of the Creator. Negative patterns may appear, but they do not have the power to define you. When you stand firm in faith, when you pray and act with discernment, you have the strength to break every chain, every curse, every limitation that others try to place upon you. Do not let the envy of others dim the purpose God has destined for you. Keep your dreams close to your heart. Protect them with wise silence, and let God lead you through every storm. Because when you walk in His light, no shadow can linger over you. And that is the kind of freedom no one can take away.